discovering the whisper of wisdom. In the quiet corners of research labs and late-night coffee shop conversations, Geoffrey Hinton has quietly shaped our world. He is best known for unraveling the mysteries of artificial intelligence, but what he has less celebrated are the quiet gestures of wisdom and leadership that he practices every day. He once remarked, "The most powerful thing you can bring to a group is not talent, but curiosity and willingness to learn." This simple statement captures a spirit that can become the cornerstone of every aspiring leader. Through decades of breakthroughs, Hinton has taught us that true leadership begins with humility. When a colleague presented an unexpected result, he listened more than he spoke. He let the data speak first and only then added his own interpretation. This practice taught us how to create a culture where ideas, not egos, drive progress. The lesson is clear: lead by asking questions, not answering them. If you want to inspire creativity, start by encouraging your team to ask the why behind every task. Write a brief note after each meeting that asks what you learned, what surprised you, and what you still wonder about. This simple habit turns ordinary meetings into laboratories of curiosity. Another example comes from Hinton's early days studying neural networks. The first time a pattern recognition model failed, he did not abandon it. Instead, he dissected the algorithm, asked why it misclassified, and used that insight to improve it. Leadership is the act of turning failures into stepping stones. Whenever you face a setback, pause, ask, "What lesson can I extract?" and then chart a small tweak that brings you forward. Conclusion of this chapter: humility fuels curiosity, and curiosity fuels innovation. Whenever you feel your leadership is stalling, remember Hinton's voice that the most powerful way to lead is to ask, listen, and learn. If you are enjoying this, share and subscribe or follow for more wisdom and leadership. Reflective question: what question will you ask in your next meeting to spark curiosity? 5 Pillars of Enlightened Leadership. Hinton's career is a testament to a handful of core principles that bind technical mastery with human insight. Here are 5 pillars that can transform how you lead at any level. 1. Embrace continuous learning. Hinton himself has kept learning across decades, moving from psychology to machine learning. This reminds leaders that expertise is a journey, not a destination. Set aside 10 minutes each day to read an article outside your field. Share your findings with your team and invite them to do the same. Knowledge becomes shared gold when it is multiplied. 2. Practice deliberate experimentation. Early in his work, Hinton introduced dropout, a technique that improved model robustness. He did this by systematically trying, failing, and iterating. Create a culture where small experiments are encouraged. Pilot a new workflow for 1 week, measure the impacts, then decide whether to scale. The risk of failure is offset by the speed of learning. 3. Value collaboration over competition. Hinton's collaborative spirit led to partnerships that birthed deep learning. When a project stalls, invite another team to contribute fresh eyes. A simple, join forces meeting can break mental blocks and generate new solutions. 4. Display emotional transparency. During interviews, Hinton speaks candidly about the frustrations he faces. As a leader, a brief confession like, "I am uneasy about this approach," invites trust. Create a safe space where team members can share fears. Trust built on transparency is harder to break. 5. Keep a long-term lens. Hinton's research had implications years before they became mainstream. As a manager, look beyond quarterly goals. Ask how a decision today shapes the organization in 5 years. Set a future day task that forces the team to consider sustainability, societal impact, and scalability. Applying these pillars daily can shift the pulse of your team. For instance, start each project cycle with a 5-minute learning recap where each person shares a new concept. During stand-ups, add a quick experiment suggestion slot, and at retrospectives, ask, "What would last longer than this sprint?" Conclusion: these pillars are not separate traits, but interwoven habits that echo Hinton's own journey. Practicing them can turn any group into a resilient, innovative, and compassionate collective. If you are enjoying this, share and subscribe or follow for more wisdom and leadership. Reflective question: which of the 5 pillars will you add to your daily routine right now? Turning theory into action. Geoffrey Hinton turned neural network theory into tools that now power voice assistants, self-driving cars, and personalized medicine. His approach offers concrete strategies to translate ideas into leadership impact. First, break concepts into manageable components. Hinton wrote a 1986 paper breaking down a complex algorithm into 10 lines of code that anyone could understand. Similarly, when you have a big vision, write it in 10 sentences that a newcomer could read. This demystifies the project and invites others to contribute. Second, create feedback loops as early as possible. Hinton insisted on building test harnesses before adding features, ensuring each step was validated. As leaders, embed quick wins that provide visible progress. For example, launch a minimum viable product, gather user reactions, then iterate. The loop keeps momentum alive. Third, maintain a curiosity journal. Hinton's notes often contain questions like, "Why do we see this pattern?" rather than answers. Encourage your team to capture questions first and answer them later. This practice aligns problem solving with inquiry. Fourth, schedule time for reflection. Hinton often spent long hours alone, pondering the next line of questioning. Set a protected slot each week for personal reflection. No meetings, no email, just thinking. Let your mind wander over recent challenges and imagine unconventional solutions. Fifth, celebrate small wins with the entire organization. Hinton's early deep learning proofs were shared among colleagues with coffee. A culture of public celebration boosts morale and signals that progress, even incremental, is valuable. Concrete example, you lead a software team facing a reliability crisis. Apply Hinton's strategies by first breaking down the problem into 3 core failure points, then develop a simple test harness that verifies each point. Hold a short, aha meeting where each member shares one question about the failure, then group think to find a root cause. Celebrate the day's findings publicly and revisit the lesson in next month's retrospective. Conclusion: to achieve transformational leadership, translate learning into action. By breaking ideas, building feedback, fostering curiosity, reflecting, and celebrating, you emulate Hinton's successful path. If you are enjoying this, share and subscribe or follow for more wisdom and leadership. Reflective question: what small experiment can you introduce today that could lead to significant insight? Building your own leader's toolkit. Hinton's wisdom is a toolbox that extends beyond his field. Here is how you can assemble a kit that blends curiosity, experimentation, and long-term vision. Question 1, Humility Binder. Keep a reminder of a recent failure, no matter how small, on your desk. Next morning, glance at it and ask, "What did I learn?" This practice keeps humility alive. Question 2, Learning Prompt Card. Write one new concept you encountered each week on a sticky note. Rotate them in a shared board visible to the team. The visible accumulation becomes a collective learning wall. Question 3, Experiment Brief. Design a one-page experiment plan. Goal, hypothesis, method, criterion for success. Share it before starting the experiment to align expectations. Question 4, Feedback Loop Schedule. Create a recurring calendar event labeled Review and Refine. Bring data, observe patterns, and revise. Make sure the session is short and focused. Question 5, Long-Term Vision Map. Draw a simple timeline on paper. Next quarter, next year, 5 years. Write a headline for each segment that captures the influence you hope to reach. Revisit and update it quarterly. Using this toolkit keeps the abstract principles of Hinton's leadership grounded. You are no longer a passive learner. You actively create the environment where curiosity thrives, experimentation wins, and vision endures. Conclusion: a well-kept toolbox is the hallmark of a forward-thinking leader. By integrating humility, continuous learning, disciplined experimentation, proactive feedback, and future-oriented mapping, you walk the path Geoffrey Hinton has trod. If you are enjoying this, share and subscribe or follow for more wisdom and leadership. Reflective question: which item from this kit will you add to your everyday life first? The journey continues. Geoffrey Hinton's story reminds us that mastery is not a fixed endpoint, but a series of small, deliberate steps. His life shows that true wisdom and leadership are inseparable, formed by curiosity, openness, humility, and a relentless drive to question and improve. To advance, focus on the following. First, commit to daily reflection, no matter how brief. Let your mind explore questions rather than rush for answers. Second, set a weekly challenge. Pick a known obstacle, design a miniature experiment, observe, and iterate. Third, maintain an ever-growing learning board that your team can contribute to, ensuring collective growth. Fourth, when you celebrate successes, frame them as collective wins, reinforcing that leadership is a shared endeavor. This approach creates a virtuous circle. Curiosity sparks experiments, experiments create data, data informs reflection, reflection strengthens future curiosity. Like a spiral, each turn amplifies the impact. Conclusion: the path forward is ongoing. There will always be new questions, new uncertainties, new breakthroughs. By embedding Geoffrey Hinton's core principles into everyday routines, you can lead with wisdom, inspire others, and build a future that is both innovative and humane. If you are enjoying this, share and subscribe or follow for more wisdom and leadership. Reflective question: what single action will you take today to begin practicing curiosity in your leadership?